Okay, so for context, I am and will always be a recovering addict. I did hard drugs when I
Mhm.
was younger, kind of switched to alcohol because I was trying to get off drugs, and which alcohol is probably one of the worst anyways, and have just struggled with substance abuse. Now all legal, like because there's
Mhm.
Delta 8, there's Kratom, there's alcohol,
Sure.
there's all these things that I was taking that are legal because I'm trying to do things better, but all were having horribly negative impacts on me. And like, I wasn't like slobbering drunk or always high or any of that stuff, but like enough to where it was really negatively impacting me. And it made me feel worse about myself because I didn't have the self control to not do it,
Mhm.
which would then feed into a negative feedback loop because that's what I was in for a long time. Because it would make it harder to get up on time in the morning, which now, since I
Yeah.
work for myself, I can get up whenever I want. But there's something psychological about sleeping in super late that makes the rest of your day kind of feel like you've wasted the day. And, I'd end up staying up real
Mhm.
late at night, but that also kind of fed into the whole addiction part because, like, everyone's asleep. I can have some drinks or I can, do whatever.
Sure.
Um, so it was just unhealthy and it made me feel really bad about myself. And the feeling bad about myself would sap all of my motivation and which would make me feel worse about myself. And then my drive and just self worth. Like I was literally self loathing because I don't feel like I was the best version of me. And
Mhm.
it's just a feeding in on itself. If you're in that loop, it's just a negative. And, there's a saying like, if you're not going forward, then you're going backwards. And I've been going backwards
Mhm.
for a long time. Now, also to preface, a long time ago, I was way worse off than I am now, but still, compared to what I want to be, I was going backwards and I was not in a good place. Now, it hasn't been that long, but I recently went to like a maker meetup in New York, and I used that opportunity. Like I flushed everything. I was taking kratom. I had Delta 8, which
Mhm.
is like a legal version of weed, essentially. Um, I had not drank for a little while, but I just got rid of everything. Uh, flushed it, threw it away, and was just going to use this opportunity to sort of force myself to hit the reset button. And now there were substances there, but something about getting rid of it all and making my mind up before I left, it was a lot easier to turn down alcohol and things like that at this event. So I turned it all down, got home. I actually felt really bad for a couple of days, not like a withdrawals or anything, but just emotionally bad. I don't know what it
Mhm.
was. But then I've been reading this book by Tracy, which it's like every quote, every sentence in that book could be a quote you could hang on the wall. It's just packed full of such good information, but it was worded in a way that was really easy. It was very logical, and I'm super logical, super what's the word where you take everything at face value? I can't think right now. But anyways, my mind works away. It was written in a way that I could very much understand, and it made sense to me. So I started reading the book again because I'd stopped because I lost momentum. So it was like I don't know what really happened, but I wrote down a schedule because I've never had a schedule. I've always been like I'm just a free spirit artist. I can just do what I want and work on things when I want. But that literally made me not get anything done. You know, wrote a schedule, started sticking to it, getting up early, exercise. Dude, exercise is literally like I was telling my wife. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but I told my wife, I wish they had a pill, like a pill that would make me happy and motivated and everything. And that is the pill. Like being
Yeah.
like taking care of business, dude. Exercise in the morning. I mean, it literally is drugs, but they're just natural brain juice drugs. Like endorphins and dopamine and things like that. I feel so energized and so motivated after I get off the treadmill, which is behind me there. It's crazy. Like I feel manic almost. I'm just like, hell yeah, let's get going and freaking do all this stuff. And I've been the most productive and happy. I mean, I like myself at the moment. My only fear is that the cycle will continue like it's always continued, and I'm going to let myself down in the future. I'm determined. I've been leaving myself notes on my phone of in the state of mind I'm in now, reminding myself how I feel, how great it is,
Mhm.
and alcohol or other substances or procrastinating, none of that stuff will make me feel it. Maybe in the very moment it might make me feel okay, but it's the vastly going to be outweighed by the negative. It's just like little notes in my phone that I can go back to. I even once, when I was drunk, I wrote myself a note as if I was talking to a totally different person, and that also was kind of an impact. I read it to my wife. She's like, "You got to keep that because I was basically talking like, you're messing this up. The only one who can change this is you, and you're keeping me from happiness and from being productive." And that's literally, I know I'm rambling, sorry, but that's literally why I have been, my output in videos has been going down and down steadily over the years, because I've been moving backwards. And also my projects are getting more, kind of crazy, a lot of them, and I'm trying to one up myself. So the complication factor has gone up, but it's because I've been not taking care of myself physically or mentally. And I know I've talked about it in some videos with the Deep Thoughts with Dookie segment, but I mean, that's all real. Like, I'm legitimately, it's struggle. And I want to, anyone who's listening to this, let you know that like it may feel horrible today and you may not be doing good right now, but you totally can change that. Like I don't know. I just want to encourage you to like, just do some simple changes, and that can start that ball rolling until you're in a positive feedback loop, because it will give you the mental boost, and you'll start feeling better about yourself because you're doing something positive and good, and it'll encourage you to keep going. Like, that's literally what happened to me. Sorry, that was a huge ramble.
No, that was so much important stuff, though. And we've talked in the past about how tiny little things compound over time. That thing like, if today is 1% better than yesterday and tomorrow is 1% better than that, a year down the line, you're in an exponentially different place. But that works too on the negative side. Like when you were talking about feeling basically creatively dull and whatever, it probably wasn't market. You probably didn't notice. It's not like you woke up one day and thought, well, like, yesterday was a 10 and today is a 2.
Right.
No, it was probably going down by like 100th a day.
Yeah.
And then a year later, you're like, hey, I'm not who I was.
Yeah.
And that descent is bad news. And the stuff that you say about physical activity, I mean, if I am such a strong believer in this. I've talked to Kevin about it to the point where I can't believe he hasn't kicked me out of our Slack. And there are only 2 people in the Slack. He still probably should have kicked me out.
No, I like it. I like it. It's positive things. I would never kick somebody out. Hey, my life is going better. Oh, get out of here. I'm tired of hearing about this.
You're being too positive.
Yeah. My problems were physical, and I simply couldn't. There are a lot of prescriptions that would fit the problems that I have, but I can't take them because I would just not be mentally capable of doing my job in the way that I need to.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what do you do here? There are only so many solutions. And what is it? October, 6 months ago, I had an entire month where I basically worked out of bed for a month. And now I go through the whole day, and then I do something physical from, 5 or 6 or whenever I'm done until like 10 every night. And it feels awesome.
Yeah.
The thing that you're saying is like, you're worried about kind of relapsing into unhealthy behavior. The fact that you have demonstrable success with this, that you can look at it and think, if I do this kind of regimen of living, things are going to be, it's not theoretical. Like, this is the reality for 3 days or 3 months or 3 hours where I was sharp, I was productive, I was 100% creatively. That that's the result. And I think it's a little easier to swing back from those down times when you have demonstrated to yourself in a tangible way that doing A leads to B in a good way.
Yeah. No, I just, like, my brain is the biggest asset I have. Like, without it being 100%, and like, creativity is like, if you're not really on it mentally, creativity is really difficult. It's really difficult even when I am functioning at 100%. I have to, work at it and think. And I'm supposed to have creativity on tap. And that is just like, why am I making things more difficult for myself? It's just kind of stupid. The self-destructive behavior, it just doesn't make any sense because it's all immediate gratification issues.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the big picture, and like you said, the little bitty steps towards in the wrong direction, and one day you wake up, you're like, holy crap, but that, like you said, it can go the opposite direction. There's a great saying, like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can eat an entire elephant in just one bite at a time. And that's the way I'm kind of looking at my movement forward. Is I've just switched that loop that I've been stuck in, that self, feeding loop. Now I'm trying to go the other way, and I'm not super far into it. And I know it's like, I'm super pumped because like I'm feeling better, but I also, big thing is to remind myself, like, there will be days where I'm frustrated. There will be days where I have an argument with Nicole. There'll be days where it's really going to be tempting to like fall back. Cause I know the first thing that if I go back to drinking or doing anything, that's going to be like the trigger, because I don't look at it as, oh, I've done so good for all these days, and this is just one step back out of 100 forward steps. I look at it as, oh, I'm back to zero, and I'm trying to retrain my way of thinking that if I do slip up, I'm going to do my best not to, but if I do, that's just one half step back out of 100 forward steps.